Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is keep the commandments. The Bible describes how to get people, his people, who have lost their way back on track. And the way to do that is by keeping the commandments that God left them. These commandments are rules and directions that'll maintain the social order, that will gain them into, heaven, paradise, whatever. This is what the Bible say. And you can use parallels like this throughout life. If you want to put something together that's totally disassembled, you follow the directions. You want to get from point A to point B, you follow the directions, follow the guidelines. The same thing can be said about people in this country. You have to follow a specific order. You cannot have everybody doing everything else and all want to end up at the same place. So when Jesus said, in order to get to heaven, you got to follow the commandments. What commandments is he talking about? Well, in Matthew 18 through 19, he tells you what commandments you have to follow. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Don't steal. Give false testimony. Honor your mother and father. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, can you get to heaven if you don't keep these commandments or follow the rules? No. Because if you could, Jesus wouldn't be talking about keeping the commandments if there was another way. But let's keep things in perspective. When the Bible speaks about keeping the commandments, they're talking about ending up in paradise, in heaven, or whatever. When I use that phrase, I'm talking about my people obtaining a destination in this country, on this planet, that's better than where we are today. So we're going to keep that in perspective. There's a biblical destination and there's an earthly destination. But you have to follow specific rules and guidelines in order to get there. This country was founded on the Bible. And it also have a destination for you to reach. But the rules change and the standards are lowered. So if that's the case, can the goals or destination be the same or equivalent? Jesus says keep the commandments because only a few will follow them. But if Jesus kept lowering the standards, including more and more sin, anybody can go to heaven. And that's not the case. If you have a people in disarray here, and you don't set guidelines and parameters for them to follow, that's going to filter out the good from the bad people. If you don't do that, then the bad people you have here will just migrate over to here, and you're going to have the same problem you had over there. So we have to follow some type of rules or structure to get to a better place. And this country to be founded by the Bible or on the Bible principles, it does exactly the opposite. What the Bible condemns, this country condone. What the Bible condone, this country condemn. You know what the Bible say? Do not murder. You have mass shootings all the time. Black Lives Matter is protesting police shootings. You see it on TV just about every week. Do not commit adultery. And look who they anointed as president of the United States. This guy haven't met a wife that he haven't cheated on. But yet still, he can be president of the United States. You know, do not steal. Look at the crooks that's been elected in office. You ain't got to look at the people. Those the real crooks, and they represent the people. You know, honor your mother and your father. That's what the Bible say. What this country do? You can have children put their parents in jail just for spanking them, or just for threatening to spank them. So this is consistent. You know, I could go on and on. You know, love thy neighbor. During the COVID-19 pandemic, have you seen a loving environment where we all adhering to the precautions to reduce the spread of this disease? Or we just, you know, don't care, walking around no mask, you know, huffing and puffing all over people, continuously spreading this virus? You know, where is the Bible-like principles that this country was supposed to be founded on? And look what the country do. They take gays and have their marriage equal to a natural marriage. And what the Bible say about that? A man lying with man is an abomination. You know, this country has legalized discrimination. But they pick on the poor. Well, we all know the Bible always tells you to have compassion for the poor. So this is consistent with this country. And to conclude this, the guy that was asking Jesus, you know, what commandments do you keep? This was a rich man. And when Jesus told him, well, he asked Jesus, how can I get to heaven? And he said, give away all your cash, you know, and come work with me. And dude just was like, I can't do that. And he walked away. And Jesus said, it's easier for a rich man to walk through an eye of a needle than it is to get into heaven. And these are the people, the rich, who won't do what is necessary to become a better person. But they want to assume authority over a country and our people. You know, when you look at greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth, what come to your mind? Some people may say, well, I believe those are the 7 deadly sins. You might be right. But I would say this is the building block to the capitalist system that this country is under. You look at the greed, the lust, the envy. Look at the wrath. You just question a cop. Why are you pulling me over? And the anger just comes out. The sloth. Who are the only people on this planet that enslaved other people to build this country? Too lazy to do the work yourself, so you get other people to do it. This is what this country is founded on. And then now, like I said, we have this pandemic. Not a governing body, or what they're trying to petition now is paying people to take the vaccine for the COVID-19. They want to pay like $500 a dose. And one of the politicians that said, he was an ex-congressman, Democratic congressman, I think John Cheney or whatever his name was, saying that half the country can't withstand a $500 hit. So if you offer them $500 to take the vaccine, a family of 3, that's $1,500. My problem with that is this: if you're so concerned about the people and getting them to take this vaccine, why haven't you treated them in a respectful way before the vaccine? So that when COVID-19 do hit and you do come up with a vaccine, the people will be trusting of you and then take it. Don't tell me that because 50% of the population is so poor, they'll jump at the chance to take the money to get the vaccine. If you care so much about them, they wouldn't be poor in the first place. You would have enacted economic and social strategies to address the poor, so they wouldn't be poor, so we wouldn't have to be deciding between poverty and death to take this vaccine. But this is the mindset of the people that's governing us. They want to hold it, they want to get a problem, deny its existence, delay treatment, and then when it gets so bad, just be like, okay, but then they still want to stay in power. They did it with slavery. You enslaved people for 300 years. You deny slavery. You deny the ramifications of it. And then now when it comes time to pay, can't we just get beyond it? Can't we just forget it? No, we can't. You know, then that brings me to this Donald Trump. Here, this guy is the law and order president. That's all he preaches, law and order. If the protesters come, we'll come in there, we'll put a stop to it, you know. Joe Biden don't want to run on law and order. He can't say law and order. But here you have the law and order president pardoning all his friends because you don't trust the judicial system. If they are as innocent as you say they are, then trust that the court system will free them. So my question is, if you don't trust the court system enough, why should we? And why should you, Donald Trump, have the authority to pardon anybody? If I commit a crime against one of my brothers and either he or I go to jail, why can't the person who's been victimized say, you know what, I thought about it, he's been in jail long enough, I pardon him and let him out? We can't do that. We would have to go and petition a politician to let somebody out of jail. people who don't even relate to you. Why can't we pardon our own people? Even if it's a politician, let's say Kwame Kilpatrick. If 85% of the people of the city of Detroit say, you know what, Kwame been in jail too long, his sentence was too long, too severe, too harsh, let him out. Why should one politician have the authority to say yay or nay? This is what I'm saying. We need laws. We need a movement that's going to change the laws that's existing right now. We have to come together as a people and stabilize where we are at right now before we can try to jump off into building our own. There are laws on the books right now that is oppressing us, marginalizing us, keeping us at a disadvantage. And if we do anything to encourage anything that's independent of what whites want us to do, all they got to do is just make a law and to stop us. So I'd be like, whatever organization you're a part of, whatever church, whatever group, if you got mass numbers, then you should be able to form a group to start changing the existing rules, because there's no one thing white people do to us. Whatever they say, they have the law to back it up, and they have the businesses and industries to support it. Here, I'm watching a video of a guy walking to a store. He's wearing Jordans. White lady in the store, she's wearing Pumas, but they telling my man he got to go because the store supposedly have a no gym shoe policy. And my man was like, well, why the white woman there with the Pumas, why she get to sit down and eat and I got to leave? They skirted her all around that while they was pushing my man out the door. We need to come together as a people and change these rules, because there's no way that a business that's using public services, that's funded by the taxpayers, you should not be allowed to deny service to a taxpayer. You want to deny a portion of the public service, then provide them for yourself. But the only way we can change this and stop this is if we come together. That's why I don't understand how all these civil rights organizations, these movements or whatever, are trying to combat this problem without addressing that. We have to attack the laws that's on the books right now. Come together, and then we can start crafting a way for us to build our own way. But we got to change the laws and the politicians now. We have to admit this, we are a lost people. And if we don't follow a path that will lead us in a way that will get us somewhere better than where we are today, then what's the point? What's the point of marching and protesting if at the end of the march of protest the same people is in power? Do you think they're going to change? They're going to sit there and look at your effort, and when the smoke clear, they're still going to be in ownership and control over our way of life. Nothing is going to change. So our commandment must be ownership and control over the essential needs of our lives. That's what every black leader, black so-called leader, should be emphasizing. What can we do for ourselves to put food on our table? so that can't nobody else stop us from doing this to feed our family. If somebody say, walk into your office or whatever, walk up to you, say you fired, first thing you're gonna think of is, how am I gonna pay my bills? How am I gonna buy groceries? How am I gonna take care of my family? If our social movement, if our efforts were redirected into building businesses and industries around our nutritional needs, our educational needs, our health and human services. Look at here. I'm a truck driver. And I see trucks driving up and down the road all the time. All of them. Well, a lot of them hauling just very specific things. Onions, potatoes, bread, noodles. You know, there are 47 million blacks in this country. If we came together and built the industry to service our people, to feed our people, do you know how many jobs that would create? Do you know how many businesses that would be? We could hire our own. And not just in the grocery stores. I'm talking about transportation, owning farms, growing our own food, elevating our nutritional diet. Why protest and still eat the same nutritionally starved food that's giving us cancer right now? Why protest leaving the same people who's underpaying us now, still leaving them in power? What's the point? Coming together as a people to strengthen us socially, governing ourselves, combining our economics, building our own businesses and industries, and voting as a block. This is our commandment. This is what we should be doing. And I promise you, if we do this, we won't end up in heaven, but we will end up in a much better place than we are today. You know, we can change the way the world view us if we come together and change how we view us. I'm gonna end this video right here. And if you like this message, please share it. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete liberation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.